When Qin Xiaoyu entered the game, she was immediately overwhelmed by the new sensations she experienced. Her eyes sparkled with excitement as she clenched her fists, marveling at the realism. She couldn't believe that she could actually feel things inside the game. Two nearby players took notice of her and commented that she must be another newcomer. Qin Xiaoyu was thrilled to discover that she had obtained the hidden class, Sacrifice. She speculated that it must be incredibly powerful and thought to herself that this would definitely be worthy of her brother, Song Fei. She wondered how he was doing at that moment and whether he was aware of the secrets regarding the starting points. However, as soon as she recalled another figure, Qing Feng, her expression darkened. She muttered that he was always doting on her. Yet when it truly mattered, he proved unreliable. She scoffed, deciding that with her hidden class and Zhang Wei's promise to help her level up, Qing Feng could fend for himself. She had no intention of worrying about him anymore. Just then, her attention was drawn to the leaderboard floating mid-air. Noticing the name at the top, she was astonished to see that Shadow had already reached level 6. Comparing this to Zhang Wei, who was only level 3 yet always boasted about his strength, she realized that Shadow must be the true expert. If she could follow him, her progress would far surpass Zhang Wei's. But the real question was, where could she find this expert? As she pondered this, she noticed a team in front of her engaged in a discussion. It was Wang Meng's party. Wang Meng told his teammates that he could try to contact Lianqi Bushong, but scratching his head, he admitted that they didn't have time to wait for her. He then asked if anyone had other ideas. A long-haired man responded, pointing out that they couldn't hunt monsters without a healer. Another teammate added that, unlike the expert Shadow, they weren't capable of farming solo. He suggested they find another healer to join their party. At that moment, Qin Xiaoyu approached the team and greeted them with a smile. She asked if they needed a healer, revealing that she possessed a hidden class, Life Sacrifice. Meanwhile, at the foothill, Qing Feng and Lianqi Bushong stood observing a formidable boss from above. As he took in the sight, Qing Feng confirmed his suspicion. It was indeed the Golden Ghost Boat. Without hesitation, he instructed Lianqi Bushong to stay hidden and remain cautious of any ambushes, assuring her that he would handle the boss himself. Lianqi Bushong acknowledged his warning and urged him to be careful. The moment Qing Feng landed on the water, a system notification appeared before him. Due to the influence of the ghost boat, this area has become a violent domain. Lifespan consumption rate in this domain, 100 times the normal rate. Qing Feng's expression turned serious as he muttered to himself, calculating the effects. At 100 times the normal rate, staying in this area for just 15 minutes would be equivalent to losing an entire day of lifespan. However, he determined that a temporary violent domain like this wouldn't pose too great a threat. Following the notification, 2 additional screens materialized, displaying crucial information. Golden Ghost Boat. Level 5. Tier, Gold, Special. Countdown, 45 minutes and 25 seconds. With a resolute expression, Qing Feng prepared himself for the battle ahead. Upon seeing the situation, Qing Feng muttered to himself, noting that special bosses like this had a time limit. Fortunately, there were still 45 minutes remaining, more than enough time to take it down. Wasting no time, he activated his skill, Shadow Slash, striking the monster with incredible speed from multiple directions. Without pausing, he hurled his venom darts at the boss, inflicting massive damage and reducing its HP by 621 points. Then, utilizing his stealth ability, he vanished from the monster's sight. Speaking softly to himself, he analyzed the challenge before him. Eliminating the Golden Ghost Boat presented several difficulties. Firstly, many players misunderstood its true weakness. It was neither the skeleton nor the boat itself, but rather the ghost fire bell positioned at the tip of the vessel. Secondly, the boss's most dangerous moment occurred during its attack sequence. It had the ability to control the surrounding water and unleash a devastating area of effect strike. The water pillars it summoned inflicted abnormally high damage, so much so that even advanced warriors clad in full silver armor could barely withstand a single hit. It was fortunate that the Shadow class possessed exceptionally high agility from the start. Otherwise, dodging such an attack would have been nearly impossible. Thirdly, after executing its AoE attack, the boss would summon 12 decaying water ghosts, each possessing the power of a silver-tier entity. Scanning his surroundings, Qing Feng continued his quiet analysis, recognizing the potential disaster that awaited unprepared parties. With 12 decaying water ghosts attacking relentlessly, most teams would descend into chaos. Worse still, the boss would summon additional ghosts every 3 minutes. If they weren't eliminated quickly, their numbers would spiral out of control, inevitably leading to a full party wipe. Taking a step back, Qing Feng smirked. However, he reminded himself that he had been invisible since the battle began. The summoned ghosts would be unable to detect him. All he needed to do was find the perfect angle to strike. Without hesitation, he unleashed instant Shadow Slash, eliminating all the monsters in a single, fluid attack. Lianqi Bushong, watching from a distance, was utterly astounded. She could hardly believe what she had just witnessed. In a dazed voice, she murmured in shock that this was the #1 ranked expert, Shadow. His strength was overwhelming, appearing and disappearing without a trace. The boss had already lost most of its health, without even getting a chance to counterattack. In the middle of the battle, Qing Feng suddenly spoke to her. His tone was calm yet cryptic as he stated that he was about to die. Barely able to hear him over the chaos, Lianqi Bushong blinked in confusion and asked what he had just said. Moving with breathtaking speed, Qing Feng clarified, instructing her not to do anything, simply to wait for his revival. When Lianqi Bushong heard him, she asked in shock, her expression filled with disbelief. She wanted to know why the expert, who seemingly had the upper hand, was reacting that way. She also demanded to know what Shaoli was. Our hero looked at her and, instead of answering directly, questioned whether she was not Shaoli herself. Lianqi Bushong immediately denied it, firmly insisting that she was colored Lianqi Bushong, not Shaoli, and dismissing the name as something that sounded like it belonged to a dog. Unfazed by her response, our hero simply smirked and acknowledged it, referring to her as Shaoli once again. Meanwhile, the team that had previously been defeated by him arrived, this time reinforced by a large number of additional players. Their leader was furious, his face contorted with anger as he vented his frustration. He admitted that he had been careless and reminisced about his past victories, boasting that he had once slain legends one after another with ease. Yet now he was being humiliated by a mere girl. Just then, one of his subordinates rushed over, panting, and urgently reported that he had located the girl. He pointed toward a cliff ahead and informed the boss that the loser Shadow was currently engaged in a solo challenge at the bottom of the cliff. Without hesitation, the boss barked out an order, declaring that he had gathered all his men this time and refusing to believe that he would fail to defeat his opponent. Without wasting another moment, he commanded his team to move out. At that moment, our hero found himself in a dire situation. His stealth skill had expired, leaving him vulnerable. He muttered to himself, analyzing the imminent threat. He recognized that the fourth challenge, and by far the most difficult one, was approaching. He noted that once the Golden Ghost Boat's health dropped to half, it would unleash a massive AoE soul surge that would immobilize him for 5 seconds. Given his current state, he knew he would be unable to dodge it. As he braced himself, the boss activated his skill, launching a large-scale attack. Drawing power from the swamp, he manipulated the water to strike our hero with a towering pillar. The impact was devastating, dealing -1059 HP damage. Our hero was defeated in battle, resulting in a loss of 326 years of untradeable lifespan and 1,087 days of tradable lifespan. Meanwhile, back at the cliff, the boss wielding the axe sneered at the sight before him. He ridiculed the so-called expert, scoffing at his arrogance for daring to challenge a superior boss alone. The leader of the team charged forward, his eyes gleaming with greed. He was astonished by the sheer size of the lifespan light orbs their fallen enemy had dropped, estimating them to contain at least 100 days' worth. With a battle cry, he urged his men to advance, pointing out that the boss had only half of its health remaining. He encouraged them to strike and finish it off directly, emphasizing that this was their chance to claim an enormous reward. He emphasized that the massive lifespan orb was theirs for the taking and, with an air of triumph, proclaimed that the so-called expert had deserved his fate. With unwavering determination, he announced that, as the underdog, he was going to devour the so-called big dog. However, a sudden skill was cast in their direction. The unexpected attack sent a wave of shock and fear through them, making them realize that this battle was not going to end in their favor.